right, welcome back to Love Unfiltered. Today we are talking about something many couples silently struggle with but rarely feel equipped to navigate: depression and anxiety within a relationship. When one partner is dealing with mental health challenges, the entire relationship feels it. It affects communication, emotional closeness, routines, intimacy, and even self-esteem. But it doesn't mean the relationship is doomed. It means both people need awareness, compassion, and tools to navigate the rough patches together. In this episode, we'll dive into what depression and anxiety can look like inside a relationship, how to support a partner without losing yourself, how to communicate through mental health struggles, balancing empathy with boundaries, and then finally, why caring for your own mental health is just as important. This isn't about fixing your partners. It's about learning how to love them and yourself through the hard days. Now, I have invited students from diverse backgrounds to share the unique perspectives on love, relationships, and everything in between. I have Malik, who is a sophomore rehabilitation psych major, and then Kavion, who is from DC, currently resides in Salisbury, Maryland. He is a digital media major with a minor in psychology and a freshman. Thank you guys for joining me this morning. And I just want to say, it is Christmas Eve. So I just want to say Merry Christmas to all of my listeners and my guest speakers out there. Because it's supposed to be a magical couple of days where you get gifts for your family, your friends, and even for yourself. Of course, very important. You get to share meals, share laughter, happiness, and joy. So get out there into the bitter cold days and nights, bundled up, and drink some hot cocoa next to a fireplace. Or enjoy some winter holiday games with your friends and family. Also, of course, be safe for any holiday travels that you may have. All right. Now, before we talk about support, we need to understand what depression and anxiety can actually look like inside a relationship. Depression in relationships may look like low motivation, emotional numbness, irritability, withdrawing or isolating, losing interest in things they used to enjoy, reduced physical or emotional intimacy, difficulty communicating feelings, and then feeling like a burden. Anxiety in relationships may look like overthinking, worrying excessively, fear of abandonment, assuming the worst, needing constant reassurance, difficulty relaxing, and then irritability or emotional overwhelm. These experiences are not personal attacks. They are symptoms. Now, how could this impact the partner? Your partner may feel helpless, feel responsible for their emotions, feel exhausted or overwhelmed, confusion about how to help, unintentional resentment, and in fear of saying the wrong thing. Mental health challenges affect both people, even when only one person is experiencing them. Now, for my guest speakers, what do you guys think people misunderstand the most about supporting a partner with mental health struggles?
I feel like one of the things that a lot of people don't take into consideration is it takes a lot of patience.
I do agree. I think that it does take a lot of patience, and some people don't really have a patience for it. Which I feel like a lot of people should work on building that up, because mental health struggles are going to come multiple times throughout life because, life isn't easy. You're going to go through financial hardships, relationship struggles, mental health struggles, emotional and physical, you know, struggles as well. And so I think that people should really strengthen their resolve when it comes to being patient because, life is going to throw stuff at you all the time and you gotta have the patience for it, especially when your partner's going through it too. Now, how can someone tell the difference between their partner not caring and their partner just being mentally overwhelmed?
I feel like that has to be that, like, you gotta establish that ground of communication early. You gotta know, like, what their communication style is. Whether somebody is, what's the word I'm looking for? Confrontive, or if they need time, depending on what the situation is.
Mm-hmm.
And acknowledging that in different circumstances.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I agree. I think that communication, as I've always have mentioned in previous episodes, is very important. And I think the only way you're really gonna know whether you're just your partner, like, just telling the difference, you just talk to them, find out what it is, and then that's literally how you will, figure out, like they're mentally overwhelmed. So, yeah. What do you think, Malik?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. The more you know about your partner, the more you'll know how, if their mood or, you know, if the way that they conversate takes a different, like, slope, like a different down slope than it usually does, then you'll be able to tell that by continuously learning more about them and communicating with them as time goes on. And the more you know, the more you'll be able to tell.
Mm-hmm. Why do you guys think mental health struggles can make communication so difficult?
Because when you're in a state where you mentally can't help yourself, sometimes you just don't feel like expressing it, like verbally. Sometimes you don't have the energy to.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd rather just keep to yourself and just try to deal with it on your own because you would never really want to put someone else in that type of situation where they feel obligated to deal with the troubles that you're
Kind of doubling down on what Malik just said, I also feel like for some people, sometimes, taking that time to really, like, let's say the person with that mental health issue is, what's the word I'm looking for? Is aware, very self-aware, right? And in some circumstances where he could tell, or he or she could tell when something's off, but they don't exactly know what it is yet. So they're trying to, like, take time to themselves, to analyze, to kind of self-analyze and figure out what it is. They can't exactly, like, if you were interested to know what's wrong with them, what's on their mind, they can't even tell you yet because they haven't yet figured it out. And they still need that time to process.
right.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, support doesn't mean fixing. It's about creating safety, understanding, and emotional consistency. Here are ways you can support your partner. Be patient with their emotional process. Listen without trying to solve everything. Ask what support looks like for them. Offer help in small, manageable ways. Validate their feelings, like saying, I'm here. I understand. Or your feelings matter. Encourage healthy routines gently, and then remind them you are a team, not their judge. Now, here are some things you do not want to do. Do not guilt trip them, saying, you're draining me. Don't minimize their emotions, like saying, just cheer up. Don't take symptoms personally because it's not you. And then don't try to diagnose or police their emotions. Support is about presence, not pressure. Healthy ways to communicate with your partner, you can say things like, how can I support you today? Is this a moment where you want advice or just comfort? I'm here and I'm not going anywhere. Or, I care about you, but I also care about myself, because boundaries matter too. Now, for my guest speakers, what are some supportive things someone could say to a partner dealing with mental health struggles?
I mean, you could say things like, just be simple with it, like, hey, if you need me, I'm always going to be here to give you an open ear. Like, if you ever need to talk about something that you just got to get off your chest, I'm always going to be here. Like, just reassure them that they'll always have somebody to talk to when times get rough. And just don't say it in a way where it's like, oh, just let them choose to talk to you. Just don't try to, like, force that option on them.
Mm-hmm.
To their feeling, and whenever they do express, like, it now acknowledging the small parts that affects them the most.
Mm-hmm. For me, I would say I would just remind them that I'm here for them, and try not to, like, pressure them into telling me what's wrong, but just reminding them that I am here, so that when they are ready to tell me what's wrong, I'm available, I'm here, they can tell me. Because I never want my partner to feel like they can't talk to me about what they're going through or what they're feeling. So always try to remind them that they are able to leave that door open, even though they may not feel comfortable to tell you in the moment. At some point down the line, they may feel like, okay, I can come talk to you now, and at least you left that door open for them to do so. Letting them know that it's okay to talk to you, I think, is a good step in the right direction when it comes to letting your partner, like, supporting your partner who's dealing with mental health struggles.
Definitely.
Now, why is patience so important when supporting someone with depression or anxiety?
Patience is very important because especially someone with mental health issues, you never know what could be a trigger, in which, like, of course you probably might get tired of it yourself, but at the same time, when you get with this person, you kind of know what you signed up for. And with that, like, just kind of have their backs, because if you getting angry at the littlest thing, if that's too much for you, then that's not for you. That's not something that you should be getting involved in. However, if that is something that you feel like you can do, then like don't lash out on them. Don't, project harsh feelings, because that'll just make them want to shut down, or, kind of just stay to themselves. Or that kind of also backs up probably some overthinking that they already did, or, something along those lines. That's my personal opinion.
Mm-hmm. Right. Now, how can communication be adapted when a partner is overwhelmed?
I would say that the way communication can be adapted if your partner is overwhelmed is to just gradually allow them to unwind, but just steadily do it, not continuously, but just here and there. And as time goes on, adaptively, they'll slowly start to come around. Because not only just patience, but them knowing that you're actually putting in that effort to try to, get them to express themselves. If you're always giving them that option without trying to push it on them, slowly but surely they'll come around.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Supporting someone through depression or anxiety can take a toll emotionally and physically. Your mental health matters just as equally. Here are some signs that you need to look out for if you may be overextending yourself. Feeling drained all the time. You're just tired. You can barely stay up. You can barely do work. You don't feel like you want to do anything that you usually like to do. Feeling guilty for needing space. Feeling responsible for their emotions. Experiencing burnout. Losing touch with your own needs, like hobbies, the important stuff like taking a shower, hygiene, or making yourself look good, feel good, eating, getting enough rest. And then finally, becoming irritable or resentful. You can't support someone if you are pouring from an empty cup. Now, here are healthy ways to protect your mental health. Set gentle boundaries. Practice self-care without guilt. Seek support for yourself, like through friends, mentors, or therapy. Communicate when you feel overwhelmed. Remind yourself their mental health is not your fault. And of course, make time for your hobbies and friendships. The key here is balance. Loving someone with depression or anxiety requires compassion, consistency, boundaries, patience, and self-awareness. You are not rescuing them. You are not sacrificing yourself. And you are not carrying their emotional load alone. Now, for my guests, why do you guys think people feel guilty for prioritizing their own mental health when their partner is also struggling with it?
Because sometimes, when you're trying to be considerate of somebody else, it's hard to, like when you want to step away, you might be feeling like you're being dismissive, or you might feel like kind of just, they might have that guilty conscience in a way where it's like how you just said, like, I just want to do for me for a second. but that involves me taking time away from you, in which I know that you probably need, more time with me. But at the same time, it's like I gotta take care of myself too.
I feel like people will feel guilty because they feel like their partner's going to feel like they're abandoning them or neglecting them or make them not care. And if you really truly do love your partner or care about them, you wouldn't want them to feel like you don't care about them, because like why would you want them to think that, and you want to show them that that's not the case. So you're going to feel guilty for prioritizing your own mental health. Yeah. What's one boundary you think is important when supporting someone with anxiety or depression?
Priority? You said a boundary or a priority?
Boundary.
I would think a boundary would be to, if they don't want to go deeper. So say if we're already talking and she doesn't want to go deeper into like exactly how she's feeling because she doesn't really know. Don't try to get it out. Let her gradually feel comfortable to explain it or express it in her own way, instead of trying to get like some type of half-assed explanation, because it'll get to the point where if they're even sure if that's really how they feel, or if it's just the reply to get you off their back.
I agree with that.
Me too. I think I'll put up a boundary for myself, honestly. And I think that people should do that too. I think you should put up a boundary for yourself where you're making sure you're not putting in like, not like your all, because you do want to like put in your all, but it's like in a way of speaking, as of like putting in so much that you start to lose a part of yourself, or you stop doing things that make you happy. Sacrifices are important, but you want to make sure that you aren't like also taking care of yourself. So I think for a boundary for yourself is to keep that in the back of your head, a reminder that you need to also take care of yourself while you're taking care of your partner.
You never want to stop dating your partner, right? Because that keeps the reassurance there. That keeps simply building connection. That keeps all of that into play. So kind of like what you guys were saying before about setting boundaries. Like, of course, have your date nights throughout the week. But also set time periods where you guys individually have your days where you go out and probably do like a self-care day, just to keep that, just to kind of set that boundary in a sense of you have your days to yourself and they have the days to themselves, without it feeling like you're abandoning each other. And it's fair. It's fair on both sides.
Good. So, mental health support often requires resources beyond the relationship. Now, I am going to encourage therapy or professional help. Encouraging you guys to encourage that. Normalize it. Say things like, therapy is healthy, not shameful. I'm not going to lie, a lot of people struggle with believing in therapy. A lot of people don't think it's going to help them. like at all. Even if you switch to a different therapist, people just think that therapy's not going to work for them. It's a hoax. It's a sham. It's just, make believe. It's not really helpful. I know a couple people in my life who literally do not believe that therapy will help them. And I literally have to tell that person over and over again that the only reason why you felt like it didn't work the first couple of times was because maybe it was a therapist. The therapist may have just not been a good option for you. There may be a therapist out there, if you just keep exploring, you might end up running into a therapist who is helpful. So that's what I told that person. But they still won't listen to me, so just, normalize therapy. Offer to help research options. Remind them they don't need to face things alone. Validate their fears around seeking help. And then go at their own pace. Don't force it. This matters because therapy helps with emotional regulation, understanding triggers, building coping skills, improving communication, and reducing strain on the relationship. Come on, guys. We got to break the stigma as a couple. Break that stigma about talking openly about mental health. Support vulnerability from both sides, whether you're a man or a woman or what have you. Create a judgment-free emotional environment. And then celebrate those small steps in progress. Supporting someone doesn't mean being their therapist. It means encouraging them to get the support they deserve. Now for my guess, why do you guys think so many people hesitate to seek therapy?
I feel like some people hesitate to seek therapy in the sense of some people are scared to be judged, or some people might feel like they might be deemed crazy for some of their thoughts or actions.
Malik, what do you think? Malik. Oop, he walked away from his phone. Oh, that's crazy. Let's see. I think so many people hesitate? I think it's based off of honestly how they're raised, what they've heard, the type of stuff that they hear from other people. There's a lot of families out there that do not believe in therapy. Usually African families, I would say. I see that a lot. A lot of Africans do not believe in therapy at all. They either see it as a hoax or voodoo, or they just don't believe in it. They're just like, no, I'm gonna tough it out. And I'm like, yeah, but sometimes you can't, and you need help. A little extra help goes a long way. Another thing too, just so you guys remember from a previous episode, JC, a past guest speaker of mine, explained that with regard to therapists, they cannot really give you advice. They just are there to listen. So really, therapists are really there for you to just kind of say your thoughts and feelings out loud. And actually, you are the one that figures out the solutions just by saying it out loud. When you get it off your chest, then you start hearing yourself, and they kind of guide you along the way. They put their little input here and there, but they can't tell you what to do, right? So they give you little, they ask you questions like, why do you feel that way? Why do you think this happened? What do you think this means? And by doing so, they literally help your brain process what happened and figure out a solution to your problem by yourself. Though that is what a therapist is for. They're not there to fix the problems for you because they can't. It's unethical and it goes against, their rules. It is for you to figure out the solution. So that's one thing you got to remember about therapy.
And that's why, too, in a certain extent, I feel like, because I feel like as Black people, like you said, we've been pushed away from therapy for so long.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it is kind of more so of a self help. I feel like besides therapy, another great way is sometimes isolating yourself is also what leads you to this kind of spiraling down that rabbit hole. Sometimes just going out, getting some fresh air.
Mm-hmm. I think mental health, I do agree, mental health in the African American or Black community, there's a stigma there. People don't really trust it. They don't believe in mental health. They think it's really nothing. And it is something. And you really should
Right.
take it seriously, your mental health. Whether you're a man or a woman, doesn't even matter. Take it seriously, you know? And you can do simple things like Kavion said, where you can just go outside and get some fresh air. That can help too. Or you can go get a snack or something, your favorite comfort food, and that might help, you know? Now, how can partners make mental health conversations less intimidating?
Kind of knowing what your partner likes. Like, if I know, let's say, if I had a girlfriend and I know that, she likes the small, quirky things that I do that makes her laugh. And if I know she's in a bad mood, then, kind of doing those things to kind of lighten her mood and also kind of get me like a foot in the door, kind of just throw out the question, what's wrong? What's on your mind? You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
And if she opens up and she opens up, if not, kind of like what Malik has said before, don't really push it too much, kind of leave it alone. But at the same time, like, kind of feel the temperature, see where she's at mentally, kind of gauge it, and just do what you know would help them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with Kavio. Like knowing the things that your partner does for fun or like for comfort, that'll definitely you know that'll definitely bring down the intimidation when it comes to addressing their mental problems. Because especially if you don't bring it up, if you're just doing things that they usually do for themselves, but now you can do it with your partner, then that's like one of the best things in the world that a partner can ever ask for. So yeah, just giving them that option would definitely make them feel less intimidated by the fact of your partner helping you out with your mental health.
Mm-hmm. What's one sign someone might benefit from? Wait, no. What's one sign that someone might benefit from professional support?
They kind of get that gratification
Mm-hmm.
to some of the things that they're thinking about. Because I do know a handful of people that, of course, you don't believe what just anybody say. And sometimes it's hard to believe exactly what your friends say because, how they could have just found something off the internet. Or, you just probably don't trust 100% like with something as personal as this with just anybody. But maybe feeling like going to a professional, like they could really give you more insight to things that you didn't know before. And it feels, like more hard proof or evidence because of the fact that it's coming from a professional.
Mm-hmm. I think one sign that someone might benefit from professional support would be like if they are starting to feel like it's helping, like they're starting to see things from a different angle, or they're starting to consider different perspectives and things like that, or trying to really find solutions. I think that's one side that someone is benefiting from the professional support that they are getting. All right.
I agree with that.
Today, we explored what depression and anxiety look like inside relationships, how to support a partner with compassion, and how to protect your own mental health while being emotionally present. We learned that balance, not sacrifice, is what keeps relationships healthy in the face of mental health challenges. Now, supporting someone through mental health struggles doesn't make you weak. All right, guys? It does not make you weak. It makes you loving and empathetic. And seeking support for yourself doesn't make you selfish. It makes you strong. Healing isn't a solo journey or a couple's journey. It's both. Now, share this episode with someone who may be struggling silently in a relationship. Your share might give them the clarity or comfort that they've been needing. And also, of course, send in your questions and your personal stories for future episodes to my Instagram, loveunfiltered.podcast. And you don't want to miss next Monday's episode, The Invisible Burden, Emotional Labor in Relationships, where we'll unpack the unseen work that often goes unnoticed in relationships, like managing emotions, carrying mental load, and being the emotional glue, and how it impacts balance, burnout, and connection. Thank you so much again for tuning in to Love Unfiltered. Remember, love isn't just for the easy days. Real love shows up with empathy, patience, and intention. Take care of your heart, take care of your partner, and take care of your mind. Happy holidays, everyone, and I will see you all in the next episode.